Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Watchers. This is a new film from 2024, rated PG-13 with a runtime of an hour and 42 minutes. As of the recording of this video, we have a Rotten Tomato score of 31% for the critics, 53% for the audience, and an average Letterboxd rating of 2.6. That doesn't bode well for this film, unfortunately. But let's talk about the synopsis real quick. When 28-year-old artist Mina finds shelter after getting stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside three strangers that are watched and stalked by mysterious creatures each night. This is directed by Ishana Shyamalan, written by Ishana Shyamalan and A.M. Shine, and it stars Dakota Fanning as Mina, Georgina Campbell as Sierra, Owen Fuller as Madeleine, and Oliver Finnegan as Daniel. Um, Before I get too deep into this, unfortunately, this movie is just okay at best. I think there's a lot of potential for this film. There's a lot of potential for the story. I think it doesn't really get to anywhere other than that. So it's unfortunate. I go into these movies pretty open minded. I hadn't really seen anything about um, other than the trailer. I hadn't seen anything about the reactions, and I will say one thing that I saw after watching the film. Obviously, comparisons are Ishana Shyamalan is M Night Shyamalan's daughter, so like obviously comparisons are gonna come up, and I think a lot of the critics, like during their reviews, they really hinged on that, and I don't know why. It doesn't. I feel like these movies can be critiqued on a standalone on its own. So I don't know. I just found that very interesting. But of course, if you attach this to a larger name, obviously you're going to get more clicks on that. So that's about all I'll say about M Night Shyamalan in this review. For more talk about that, we'll do it when we watch Trap in August, which is his film. In this film, we have the debut of Ishana Shyamalan as a director, and this movie I think demonstrates that she has a talent in crafting intrigue and atmosphere, particularly in the film's early sequences. These initial moments, set in the dense, foreboding woods, are where the movie truly shines, enveloping the audience in an eerie, almost palpable tension. The dense foliage, whispering winds, and distant, unidentifiable sounds create an immersive experience that hints at a touch of atmospheric storytelling. So I think that was really well done. I think as far as building an atmosphere, this movie really succeeds on that front. That includes the sound mixing and sound design. I think those are really standout elements of the film. Uh, it just elevates the overall impact. Every time you hear a rustle, a distant cry, especially in the theater when there you have speakers behind you. I think that's really cool when like you'll hear dirt like coming down, or like I think all those little things are just it's part of the theatrical experience that you feel like there was a few times where I turned around because I thought something was happening behind me. I think it's this attention to detail that ensures that viewers are on constant edge, even when the visuals themselves are not overtly frightening. The soundscape acts almost as an unseen character, guiding the emotional experience of this film. However, the film's pacing and narrative structure are less successful in that. Much of the Watchers is bogged down with extensive exposition, and while it's fascinating to delve into the story's background and the folklore that underpins it, these segments often feel suited more like just a novel, or like where like I don't like the heavy reliance on the dialogue having to explain everything that's going on. Where we'll see there's a big scene where we sit there and watch a lot of videos about like explaining what's going on. So I think all that kind of made it a little bit sluggish, and it slowed down the pace of everything we were doing. Folklore horror is a subgenre with a lot of potential, and it's definitely demonstrated in this film, offering endless avenues to explore some of the more primal fears or maybe cultural myths and things like that. Urban legends. I think The Watchers touches on these elements but doesn't fully exploit them. The film hints at a deeper, more terrifying mythology, but never quite delves into the lore. And I think it's this underutilization that leaves the audience craving for a little bit more of the mystery, more of the horror, more of a connection to this ancient legend that they are kind of going into. I think the most jarring aspect of this film is how it really abruptly shifts the mood towards the end. Everything, all the atmosphere that had been built so carefully over the first probably about an hour and 10 minutes, they kind of just give a less satisfying resolution. I think the change in tone really undermines a lot of the earlier parts of the film, and it feels disconnected. So the climax kind of felt like rushed and maybe even tacked on. I feel it would have been almost better to leave some things unexplored and unexamined at the end. I think that would have been just leaving the audience to think about what's going on their own. Sometimes it's more powerful. So yeah, I think this film definitely showcases that there's a lot of potential for Shyamalan as a director, particularly when it comes to creating the mood and the atmosphere. But I think there's a lot of things to really maybe work on and explore. So I'll be definitely interested in whatever film happens to be next. But this one, I really cannot. If you're gonna watch it at the theater, I think that's probably where it'll have the most impact. Unless at home you have like a really nice setup. Like I said, I think the sound really, really adds a lot to what was happening, a lot to what I enjoyed about the film. But yeah, other than that, don't rush out to go watch this film. I think unless you really want to. Um, even with the cast, there's really not a standout performance. I didn't even mention them much. I think everyone's pretty serviceable. It is really cool to see some familiar faces like Dakota Fanning and Georgina Campbell, that I've seen in other things. But I don't know that it was enough other the work to just really make it a standout of the film. So overall, I think this film was fine. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a good movie. It's just kind of like in the middle, and that's unfortunate because it means that it's unfortunately not going to have much of an impact when it comes to me looking at some of the things I enjoyed the most in 2024. So, if you've seen this film, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know what some of your favorite things were. If you didn't like it, be kind, but let me know what are some of the things that detracted you from the experience. And as always, if you want to support the channel, there are a few links down below to our Patreon. You can become a member of the channel. You can also just check out our Ko-fi page. All that stuff is in the description of the video. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, movie reviews, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.